with MS, Parkinson's, epilepsy, who would not be able to function without cannabis. And I guess I'm stubborn or stupid because I decided I was going to stick my neck out there and try to bring a little education, a little information to the public.
My name is Irvin Rosenfeld, and I'm the longest surviving of the final 4 federal medical cannabis patients in the United States. The federal government's been giving me my medicine for over 29, almost 30 years now. I became the second person, lucky enough, to be able to get medical cannabis in 1982. And I swore then that when you have a severe bone disorder or any disease, you want to make something good out of something bad. So if I can help others, that's what I wanted to do. And thank God, since 1982, we've gotten the word out nationwide and worldwide to where now we have 16 states that have passed laws, the District of Columbia in this country, plus all around the world people now know about medical cannabis. And I like to believe that Robert Randall, the first patient, and myself were instrumental in educating and being the pioneers of this industry. So I was not a criminal, I was a patient. I did not ask for my bone disease, but I had it. So therefore, the federal government was going to outlaw it, and the federal government should want to supply it to me. So I took on the federal government. It was a 10-year struggle back in Virginia. I went back to Virginia, my hometown, and I took on the government. It took me 10 years. You can read about it in the book that I've got, the whole analogy, the whole difficult period, but I won. In 1982, I became the second person in the United States that the United States federal government grows my marijuana for me on a daily basis. They grow it on the campus of the University of Mississippi. There it's sent to the plant center of Raleigh, North Carolina, Raleigh Research Triangle. It's put in cigarette form. They put 300 cigarettes in this cookie tin, and here are the government cigarettes. Now, with a show of hands, how many of y'all were in the past or still today pay federal taxes? Just raise your hand. Well, I'm going to thank each and every one of you for paying my taxes for the last 30 years.
My name is Robert Melmead. I'm a PhD. I'm a associate professor, tenured associate professor at the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. I'm the former chairman of the biology department at that institution. And I'm also president and CEO of Cannabis Science, symbol CBIS, on the NASDAQ bulletin board. What specifically drives me, I guess, is concern for my own health and concern for the health of friends, family, and basically everyone. And as opposed to health, the imposed mental and societal illness imposed on us by cannabis prohibition. It's just an outrage that people like Robert Platshorn here at this meeting have been in jail for, almost 30 years for a plant. And it's just insane that anybody would have the gall to think that they can take a God-given plant that has had such an important role in history, both from the point of view of what we call hemp and its ability to produce fuel and fiber, but more important for me at this point is the medical value. And that's become all the more apparent and scientific once the endocannabinoid system was discovered. Endo means within, cannabinoid is cannabis related. Everyone makes marijuana-like compounds. They're called endocannabinoids. And they literally regulate everything in your body from the time of conception until the time of death. And we do all have a common biochemical imbalance in that we are all aging. And there's certain biochemistry associated with the aging process. And cannabinoids actually inhibit that particular process. I myself am now 64, and I've been using cannabis since I was 16. Cannabis is what made me realize the importance and value of learning, and as a result of my cannabis use, I had one of the horrible side effects. I got a PhD.
So quite clearly, this is showing you that you need sufficient cannabinoid activity in order to live a normal lifespan. So how many of us are missing cannabinoid activity in these different areas? You're suffering from arthritis, from multiple sclerosis, from Crohn's disease. Remarkable results with these things with people who use cannabis. Remarkable.
My name is Michael Minardi. I'm a criminal defense attorney in South Florida and advocate for the medicinal use of marijuana and legalization of marijuana in the state and the country. What drives me to do this, actually ever since I've been, as long as I can remember, I've believed that the government tyranny on medical marijuana and cannabis was unjust, unlawful, and I used to have a bumper sticker that said stay in school, learn the system, then change it. So as long as I can remember, I decided I wanted to become an attorney to be able to fight these laws.
Cannabis isn't a Schedule I substance. You have to reschedule it. A Schedule I substance, high potential for abuse, has no currently accepted medicinal value in the United States, and it's unsafe under doctor supervision. Well, you have a doctor here who said that he's given it to hundreds of patients who's it's been successful for, and you have a patient here who's been using it for 40 years, who is still standing here today, that his doctors told him back then he wouldn't live out of his teens. But why? The DEA, they're entwined with the money. These corporations, they have lobbyist power. They have ties to the government. These privatization of prisons, the prisons for profit, one of the first ever ones was in Tennessee. You know who one of the biggest investors was? The governor of the state. He then turned around and got paid for lobbying for them. Judge Young found that marijuana was the safest therapeutic substance known to man. And the DEA ignored them and wouldn't reschedule it. Why? Their own administrative judge.
My name is Karen Goldstein. I'm the director of NORML of Florida, the state chapter, and I'm considered the president of our chapter as well. And I'm passionate about legalizing marijuana, particularly medical marijuana in Florida. To me, it's a subject that's very dear to my heart. I have a daughter who has epilepsy and who moved to California, and fortunately moved to California because that's the only thing that controls her epilepsy. My inspiration is, as I said, my daughter. When she first moved to California, even though she was compliant with her medication, she was still having seizures. When she went to a new neurologist out there, he said to her, "You need to join a dispensary." Marijuana has been shown to be a neuroprotectant. It's proven to help people with epilepsy to control the seizures. And in conjunction with her medication, she's been able to get medical cannabis from the dispensary, and in 12 years, she has not had a seizure. All I can say is that in my own life, it's had a profound effect. Now, many of you are grandparents and parents, and my daughter can't come and visit me and medicate legally, because in Florida, there's no medical marijuana. And that definitely restricts her visitation. It's just not fair.
What we have to do now is there's 16 states that I've helped get new laws passed, including the District of Columbia, so 17. It's a third of the nation. Monday, I'm flying from Fort Lauderdale to New Hampshire. New Hampshire just passed a law. The Republican House and Senate just passed a law for medical cannabis. The Democratic governor wants to veto it. His wife's a pediatrician, and she says we don't need it. Well, she's wrong. We can use it as an arsenal for all of our medicine and health. So they're flying me up there, and I'll be talking to the governor, I'll be talking to representatives, and again, to say, hey, look, if you think it's that bad, look at me. I've been using it for 41 years, almost 30 years on the federal government. My lung capacity is 108% normal. Again, I am a stockbroker. The knowledge that I use to take on the federal government is the knowledge I use in my investments. I also teach disabled sailing at an organization in Coconut Grove called Shake-A-Lay. I teach disabled children and adults how to sail adaptive sailboats. I'm able to do all this because I have the right medicine. So what I want to do is, my road is a little sucks. If you can make something good come out of something bad, it makes you feel better. So what I've been able to do is educate this entire nation. Okay, I helped pioneer this movement. Well, now it's time that we pioneer this in Florida. So with y'all's help, we go out, we talk to our peers, we talk to our families, we go to our representatives, we tell them they need to pass a law, they need to pass it as soon as possible.
Hi, I've just attended a discussion on the tour. That's right, that's the name. I didn't remember the name. And it was about people having some choices in the use of cannabis for medical reasons. And I cannot see any reason why the government should take away another way for aging people, particularly down here in Florida, who are in such pain, and they could get relief from their illnesses. I have something that I've just found out, that I also found out from the Silver Tour, that cannabis can help me. And I'm not just saying this because it's for my advantage, it's for my children and my grandchildren. I hope people consider it. Lots of things in the past have been thought of as strange. I don't think this is strange. I think this is something we really need to pay attention to. Thank you.
I am absolutely in favor of legalizing medical marijuana. I cannot find one single objection against it.
Well, I was very impressed with the event. A state here like Florida, which I thought would be the last place ever to even get it on the ballot, has now at least some people at least taken the challenge and are trying their best to get this thing passed. It's totally, totally absurd to consider cannabis a drug that has no intrinsic medical value. The whole world knows that it has hundreds of uses medically, and the people in the state of Florida deserve to be treated equally. The boys that come home from the war in Iraq and Iran that are getting treated in other states for post-traumatic stress syndrome should have that same right in the state of Florida. And that's one of the things I have to say. There are many others. We all deserve the right to say what we're going to put in our own bodies. Okay? No one's ever died on a cannabis overdose, ever. Yet 300 people die a year taking Tylenol. Where is the equality there?